Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Let's get things started with our markets updates. U.S. futures have lost momentum we saw yesterday and are now sliding back, with S&P Futures down 0.15%, Dow Futures down 0.13%, and NASDAQ Futures down 0.09%. S&P Futures pulled back after the index capped its best day since June. Benchmark Treasury yields added 2 basis points to 1.44%. Elsewhere in markets, oil futures are trading near $60 a barrel, with investors looking ahead to the OPEC meeting later this week. Over in Europe, shares climbed today. There's a real fear that bubbles in the U.S. and European markets could burst because their rallies are heading in the opposite direction of their underlying economies and will have to face correction sooner or later. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning long, as you know, and they were down a lot further. They were down like half a percentage point, and now you're looking at the S&P futures, and they've recapped a lot of those losses. So, it's starting to show a little bit of a turnaround. Yes, those declines last night in Asia, they were very powerful. The Asian market sold off after those negative comments from China's top regulator, where he was saying the markets are overvalued, and he indicated that China would likely be raising interest rates later this year. But look at Europe. The European markets continue to rise despite those comments. I see that the tech stocks are showing some signs of weakness, but you look at Target, and they're rallying again this morning. I look at oil. Well, you know what? Oil's $60 a barrel. This gives OPEC nations the ability to really raise productions. And they're talking, this is the talk. They're talking about raising productions. You get Saudi Arabia looking to raise their production, as well as Russia. So I think that announcement is likely to happen very shortly. I think the meeting starts on Thursday. But while the markets are a little bit off, let's not count out an opportunity for these markets to move a little higher later today.
Well, moving into earnings to watch today, Bill, what type of earnings are we looking at?
Hey, let's start with Target. They delivered a 13-cent beat on higher revenue, and the stock is pushing higher this morning. You look at Lumber Liquidators, ticker LL. They delivered a 56-cent beat on higher revenue. AZO, which is AutoZone, they delivered a beat of $2.09 on higher revenue. And Zoom, this was a real question mark in my mind, but they came through with a 43-cent beat on higher revenue, and they guided higher. On the downside, look at Lemonade. This is ticker LMND. We've been talking about this the last few days. I was concerned here because of the valuations. They really had to come up with something significant. They lost 60 cents per share. Now, that's a 4-cent beat from what the estimates were at. Revenue is higher, customer count is up, but it was not a substantial beat. And you're looking at the stock, it's trading off 5.8% this morning. NEO, that's ticker NIO, they lost 14 cents, and the estimates were for a loss of 7 cents. Yeah, deliveries were up, but your valuation is pretty high, and stock's off 4.5% this morning. 3D Systems, that's DDD. We've been talking about this one as well. They missed by a penny, but they did deliver it on higher revenue. But their accounting problems are likely to continue to weigh on the stock price for the time being. You can't really delay the filing of your 10K and expect the market to reward you, even with an earnings beat or an earnings miss in this case of 1 cent. The company's downplaying the accounting issue, saying any financial impact resulting from the review is accounted for within the fourth quarter. It sounds good, but let's see what the filing says. Let's wait for the data.
Any insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Oh, I got a couple. Let's look at Nordstrom's. That's ticker JWN, John William Nancy. Their price for a move of 10.6% when they released this afternoon. Ross Stores, that's ticker ROST. Their price for a 5.6% move when they released this afternoon. Dollar Tree, DLTR. This stock is priced for a 5% move when they release tomorrow morning. Dycom Industries, that's ticker DY, David Yellow. That's priced for a move of 13.8% when they release tomorrow morning. Navistar, they're priced for a 4% move on their earnings release. JWM is Nordstrom's. That's ticker John William Nancy. I kind of feel it's all going to be about the guidance with these guys. In early February, the company already said that it expects holiday quarterly sales to fall about 20%. Okay, you know that. That's kind of priced into the stock. However, the company says that it's expecting to see sales rise to about 25% this year. So don't be surprised if that guidance move higher, can push that stock a little up. Nordstrom's is really converting into a more of an online store, so they're making the right steps. Let's take a look at Ross Stores. That's ticker ROST. Ross Stores had that terrible time during the pandemic. They came into it with little online presence, and its stores were shuttered by the COVID-19 restrictions. And the weak appetite for nearly all clothing outside of yoga pants. They just saw their sales cut in half during the spring quarter and down by a third during the summer. Their earnings per share are expected to rebound from $1.21 in fiscal 2020, which ended in January, to $4.53 in the fiscal 2021. So Ross Stores really should come out of this pandemic pretty strong as consumers start to go back into shopping at the stores, and you've never seen lines as long as some of these discount clothing stores that you see at Marshalls and Target and TJ Maxx. So Ross Stores seems to be on its way to recovery.
Moving into our economic reports, Bill, what type of reports are we expecting today?
8:55. There's a red book on retail sales. It comes out every Tuesday at 8:55. It's always an interesting read. At 10 a.m., we have a report on construction spending. At 1 o'clock, we have the Fed Governor Laurel Bernard speaking. And at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we have the San Francisco Fed Mary Daly giving a speech.
Well, moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on communication systems, that's ticker JCS. Company has entered into a merger agreement with Pineapple Energy, an operator and consolidator of residential solar panels. Communication systems share price is up 30.65% in pre-market. In other news, AstraZeneca, ticker AZN, is advancing a mass global rollout of COVID-19 vaccines through the COVAX initiative, which aims to provide 142 low and middle income countries with hundreds of millions of doses in the coming months. AstraZeneca's share price is up 1.08% in pre-market. One on Rocket Companies, ticker RKT. The share price of this company is surging in pre-market off of a 10-year treasury decline that started yesterday, and Rocket share price is up 16.05% in pre-market. One on Beacon Street Group and Ascendant Digital Acquisition, ticker ACND. The companies have entered into a merger that will make Beacon Street a publicly traded company. The value of the combined companies is $3 billion. Ascendant is down 2.36% in pre-market. In other news, McDonald's, ticker MCD. On their company website, McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczynski vowed to crack down on sexual harassment in the workplace following reports of allegations by female employees. McDonald's share price is up 0.48% in pre-market. One on Twitter, ticker TWTR. Twitter has made known that it will permanently ban users who post misleading information about coronavirus vaccines. One on Copen, ticker KOPN. Ticker KOPN. It's an AR systems company, augmented reality, which has jumped as high as 21% in pre-market off of quarter four profits report. Lastly, for me, President Biden is to announce that Merck, ticker MRK, will help make Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine, it's ticker J&J, in a pact between the competitors. So J&J share price is up 0.21% in pre-market, while Merck's is up 0.35%. But what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I use my news alerts to really keep me on top of the hot breaking news that is going on. I use it for research. It's really easy to kind of, drill down into those stories. that are creating momentum during the day. And sometimes you can figure out pieces of information that are so golden that aren't priced in that it's really a moneymaker for me. This morning I'm looking at my FANG alerts. I see Apple. Did you know all of Apple's US retail stores have reopened? That's a big positive for shares of Apple. Google's cloud business, they're joining with a couple different German insurance companies. And what they're trying to do is, build into customer risk, cyber risk into insurance policies. So Google Cloud is joining it with Alliance SE and Munich's REAG to integrate this data. Amazon's being sued for alleged race discrimination and gender discrimination, as well as equity pay violations by an employee. A lot of negative news surrounding Amazon these days. It's kind of concerning. My Dow Jones 30 alert, I saw this story go off on Apple where the iPhone orders, the iPhone 13 orders are rumored to hit the 100 million mark already. I see Johnson & Johnson, they indicate that they've already begun shipping, their COVID-19 vaccine. That's a positive. And Boeing, United Airlines, made an announcement late yesterday that they just purchased 25 new Boeing 737 MAX jets. Boeing's really undervalued here. It continues to move higher. And, nobody was buying airplanes last year. So the fact that they didn't do any deliveries last year, well, the airlines were essentially shut down. So now that they're reopening, you see that the airlines are starting to rebuy planes. Who are they buying planes from? Either Airbus or Boeing. Well, you know what? Boeing still makes some of the best planes in the world. So, shares for Boeing should continue to see some nice percentage increases over the year. I have a buyback alert, and it hit on Kohl's. Kohl's said it's going to be restating its dividend and its buyback and its buying back shares as it's facing pressures from active investors who have nominated a new slate of directors to the company's board. Target, also hit the buyback news alert. They say that they're resuming their stock buybacks after putting repurchases on hold last March amid the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The retail giant, which reported strong gains in sales and market share for 2020, says its $4.5 billion of its buyback capacity still remains under a program that the board approved in September 2019. So that's a real positive for shares of Target. My retail alert, Camping Worldwide, we talked about this yesterday when they purchased an RV dealership. Guess what? They did it again today. Camping Worldwide today announced an agreement to acquire Easy Living RVs in Bradenwood, Illinois, and they expect this to close in March of 2021. Yum Brands, that's ticker YUM. They're acquiring a company called Tetrium, which is a leading AI-based consumer insights and marketing performance of business analytics. It's very interesting because you heard, that yesterday McDonald's is looking to sell interest in their AI intelligence for consumer insights. Yum just went out and bought its own firm, but I still think that it's going to be more business to come. You're going to see more of retail companies using this AI in a way to increase their sales.
Moving into our trade talk picks for today, I'm picking Merck, ticker MRK, after the news about how President Biden's talking about the combination of these competitors, the pact that they're making, that they're going to be rolling out J&J's vaccine together, which is just coming out. That's hot news. And J&J's share price is up 0.21%. Merck's is up 0.35%. So they're not very high, but there's a little bit of positive momentum. And after this announcement's been made and President Biden mentions these companies, I'm sure we could see a little boost, and that's what I'm expecting. So Merck is my pick. What's yours looking like, Bill?
Mine's looking like high risk, high reward. I'm going with Snowflake. That's ticker SNOW. Snowflake is priced for a 9.7% move when they release earnings tomorrow. The valuations are so lofty here, but that doesn't mean that there's not opportunity. The stock could see some, positive movement today as it heads into the earnings. If I can get in under the 270 area, I think it could easily rise higher as we get closer to the earnings date. you got to remember a 9.7% move in the stock equals $26. I feel that if I can get in under 270, that I have the ability to, make some significant gains on the stock throughout the day. So I'm going with shares of Snowflake, ticker SNOW today.
Well, moving into what's hot off the press, this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak that will be moving the stocks today. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So, Bill, looking at our newswire alerts and seeing all the headlines that are streaming in, which are the ones we should be letting traders know about?
Let's talk about Toro Companies. They just acquired Left Hand Robotics. The terms were not disclosed. But here's a big one. Abbott Labs, ticker ABT. They just came out today, and they said that Congo research findings may lead to an HIV vaccine. That could be huge for shares of Abbott Labs today, ticker ABT.
One on Rewalk, ticker RWLK. Rewalk Robotics has entered into a contract with BKK Mobile Oil Insurance.
Yeah, I see that Goldman Sachs has entered into an agreement with Hazeltree Partners for streamlining of treasury global payments. I see that Cisco's WebEx did some innovation here. They're breaking through the language barriers with real-time translation for more exclusive meeting experiences. That's really interesting.
One from LS Game, ticker ELYS. LS Games just commented on legislation to legalize single event Canada sports betting. One from Agilent, ticker A. Agilent's going to be acquiring Resolution Bioscience for $550 million.
STRL, Sam, Tom, Richard, Larry, that's Sterling Construction. They were just awarded a $10.3 million project for the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing this morning.
Same here. So that'll do it for us as far as what's hot off the press. But traders, keep in mind you can receive these same breaking stories just like us simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. It will definitely up your trading game. Lastly, moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Monday. I had Foresight, ticker FRSX. It opened at $8.14. And if you didn't get in right away, that's okay, because it means it went a little bit lower. Maybe $7.50 was probably about the lowest. Other than that, it was flat all day. So it stayed around there until about 2:48 p.m. and then it took off. And that stock just shot up, went as high as $9.46 for a 16.21% gain at best. At worst, the stock closed slightly lower at $9.06 for a 11.3% gain. So either way, there was a lot of gains to be had. It was a really good move for us. So good start for the week. How'd yours end up doing, Bill?
Listen, I did target, and I was clear that, you wanted to get it in the 185 area. Stock opened at 185.95, and then it traded as low as 184.85. Throughout the day, it continued to rally. It rallied up to 187.57. It closed out at 186.55. But in the aftermarket last night, it hit $190, and this morning, based on those positive earnings, the stock hit a high of 191.04 this morning. So, that was a $5 gain easily, which really, beat the $1 move or 1% move that we're shooting for. So yeah, Target was a home run yesterday.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.